Yeah, this is a nice question one of you has sent me so that I can be able to take you through how to answer such kind of a question. Can you see whether it's feasible? Can you see it? All right, let's see um, what this question really uh, expect us to do. Python 7 147. Now, we are supposed to use the laws of indices in order to approach this question, work it out, and get the final answer. So, let's follow through and check what you are supposed to do here. Now, you remember we are given this part here. A is 3 raised to power x, and this is 3 raised to power 2x. So which means that this part that we have at this point, we can be able to say it can be written as 3 raised to power x raised to power 2, so that if you multiply the powers, you can be able to get 2x the way it was. But our 3x is actually 3 raised to power x is a, so meaning this is a squared, so this is a squared, right? That's what we are supposed to do at that point. But for this one, we can say this is the same as 3 power x times, me use multiplication normal one, 3 raised to power 4y. Yeah, we can be able to write this that way, and which will mean that this is a 3 power x times 3 raised to power y, which can also be raised to power 4 at that given point. So meaning now we can be able to substitute this 3 raised to power x with the a that we were having at this particular point, and at the same time we can be able to substitute b to, we can substitute 3y with b as we were given there. So which will mean that at this point we are going to have a times, this is b raised to power 4. So meaning this is a b raised to power 4 at that given point. So those are the laws of indices we were using at that given point. So now let us see how are we going to connect this to this. So which means that we are having AB. So from here, we know that A is that. So we're supposed to do what? Let me just check. Work out the value of X and Y. We are supposed to work out the values of X and Y. So that was the main question. Work out the values of X and Y. Now, how are we going to work out these values? Now, something that we need to put into consideration here is that just point, since we are told that AB is this. Now, I want you to look at what we have below here. This section that we have here, we can be able to write in terms of AB. So we can write this as A times AB is equals to A squared, can be written as A times A is equals to 7147. We can be able to write it like that, and at the same time we know that this part here can be replaced with this. Okay, so which will mean that here we are going to have 2187a. 2187a is equals to 177147. Now, at this given point, we have all the rights reserved to us to divide by 2187 here, 2187 at that given point. So you can see that here we are going to cancel this guy, and this guy will commit suicide, and then we're going to have our A, which is going to be equivalent to what? If we use our calculator at that given point, we are having 177147 divide by 28, not 28 but 2187. So if we put that in our calculator, we are getting 81. So this is 81. So which means that our A is actually going to be 81. Now, once we have gotten the value of A as 81, we can now go ahead back to this section that we have here. Our A is 81, so therefore B is going to be what? B is going to be 2187 divided by 81. So 2187 divided by, we are going to get the final answer here to be actually, yeah, you can see that, look at that, 27. So this is 27. So which means that here you are supposed to use the laws of indices to perform this kind of question. Yeah. All right. So let's dive in now to look at more questions, more topics that you expect to be tested on. You need to have at hand as you are waiting and as you are waiting to sit for your main exam. And if you are new to Proflan YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to upload new tutorials, you'll be notified. So let's see now what is the next topic we're going to look at, because we have looked at indices and some of the presumably difficult question. But let's see now what we have in store for us in this given question. Now you expect to do a question to do with probability, and which will mean that if you are given a question like this one, you need to understand that all the probabilities must add up to 1. So we are told that a biased spinner can land on green, on yellow, or on brown, all on pink. The table gives the probability that when the spinner is spun, it will land on green, yellow, and brown respectively, as we shown here. We are told the probability for green is 0.32, probability for yellow is 0.13, probability for brown is 0.28. Now, for pink, what's the probability? So something that we have to put into consideration whenever we are trying to work out this question is that all the probabilities must add up to 1. So meaning that if we can let the probability for pink to be x, so we can say this is 0. Yeah, we can be able to say that this is actually 0.32 plus the next probability here that I have is actually 0.13, which I'm going to add to 0.28, then plus x. This must be equal to 1. So meaning that the sum of all probabilities is equal to 1. Then having that, I'll just comfortably put this into a calculator. 0.32 plus 0.13 plus 0.28, which is going to give me 0.73. So all these are giving me 0.73 plus x equals to 1, which will mean that our x therefore is going to be 1 minus 0.73. And this is now the probability for pink, which is going to be 0.27 at this given point. So once we have this probability as 0.27, it will mean that now we were told that this was spun. It was spun 200 times. Yeah. So number of times it lands on pink will be what? How many times is it going to land on pink? This is going to be 0.27 times the number of times it was spun. So if you work this out, we are going to get our final answer being 54 times. It landed on this 54 times. All right, now looking at the next question that we have on hand here, we have ABCD is a trapezium whereby we are told that BC and AD are parallel. We are supposed to find the size of the largest angle inside the trapezium. Yeah. So if I can quickly try to redraw that figure the way it is, so that we can be able to get a picture of what we are supposed to do. I believe that is how this diagram is. Then I'm going to a little bit extend this and a little bit extend this on this side. Yeah, and I extend that. But we are told that this part and this part is parallel, right? So which we mean this is our A, B, C, D. So we have A, B, C, D at that given point. So if you are told that this is 4x minus 27 and this is actually 3x plus 46, then I'll comfortably tell you that this angle here is going to be equal to this angle down there. So meaning this angle at the top here is going to be 4x minus 27. So in order to work out this, we are going to say now, because this is going to form a straight line here, we're going to say 4x minus 27 plus 3x plus 46 is going to be equal to 180. Now, having formed such an equation, we can be able to say 4x plus 3x. This is going to give us 7x. And this is minus 27 plus 46. This is going to translate to, yeah, we don't want to make any mistake here. This is 46. Now, the next thing is 46 minus 27. 46 minus 27. This is 46 minus 27 gives us 19. So this is going to be 19 equals to 180 degrees. So if we take that, it will be 7x equals to 180 minus 19, and that 7x is going to be equivalent to what? If you work it out, this is going to be 1 here, 7, 1, minus answer. Okay, and working this, we're going to get 7x equals to 161 divided by 7 divided by 7. If 161 divided by 7, what we get? We get 23. So x equals to 23 degrees. So endpoint, we have x, that is actually 23. So this angle that we have here, which is 3x plus 46, that angle will be equivalent to what? 3x, and we have gotten that x is 23, so it will be 3 times 23 then plus 46. This angle is going to be equal to 115 degrees. 4x minus 27, this is 4 times 23 then minus 27. This gives us 65. So this angle is 65, this is 115. And also we were told that this angle here is 3x plus 10 plus 10. So meaning this is 3 times 23 then plus 10, which becomes 79. So this angle that we have at this point is actually 79. So the question was asking us to find the largest angle inside the trapezium, meaning that the largest angle, now we can say largest angle is going to be equal to 115 degrees as our final answer in that case. Now, before looking into this question, you need to understand that some of the formulas you need, for instance, exterior angle is equals to 360 degrees over n, where n is the number of sides. N represents number of sides. So this formula is very important. whenever you are trying to work out polygons. Number two, sum of angles of interior angles of a polygon are given by the formula n minus 2 times 180 degrees. If you are asked to work out the sum of interior angles in a regular polygon, basically, or any polygon, so long as you know the number of sides, you need to use that. Rather, we have our x, and this is k. We have, let me just put that here. We have our f, we have our e, we have our d, we have our o at that given point. Then we are supposed to find the value of x. So I've drawn this so that we can be able to have a clear view of what is expected to be done. Now, in order to first remember, we are going to have this line from here. If we subdivide, we join all the points like that, we are going to have this angle subdivided into exactly 9 equal parts. So meaning that if all this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all these sections are equivalent to 9. So meaning that angle at a point add up to 360. So meaning 360 divided by 9 is going to give us 40 degrees. So this part will be 40 and this part will be 40 degrees. Yeah. And also we had said that exterior angle of a regular polygon is actually 360 over n. So the exterior angle for this polygon is going to be 360 also over n. So meaning this angle at this point is 300, no. So which means that at this point we can say 360 divided by the number of sides, and actually that's going to translate to 40 degrees. So meaning at this point here we have 40 degrees, right? So if we know that, we can all as well say that, remember this is actually a straight line. It's only that the diagram is not drawn properly. This is a straight line going to that far end, is a straight line, so that we have triangle this. So if we know this value, let's check what this value is. So let me just say that. Now, how are we going to find this angle here? I want us to find this angle. So remember, this is the center of this polygon. So this part and this part are also equal. So meaning if this angle is 40 degrees, the base of the base of this is an isosceles triangle. So meaning that we can say 180 minus 40, which is going to give us 140 degrees. So meaning if we divide by 2, which is actually 70 degrees, we are going to get this 70 degrees here. So meaning we are going now to have a triangle, and our triangle is, let me just try to draw it, is like this. This triangle is triangle O, triangle F, and triangle K. OFK is a triangle that we are going to use now. This angle, we agree the whole of this angle is actually 80 degrees. The whole of this angle here is 70 degrees. So if we add 70 plus 80 plus x, we are going to get 180. So which will mean that this is going to be 70 plus 80 plus x equals to 180. So x equals to 180 minus 150, which is going to translate to 30 degrees. The angle here, this angle x, is actually 30 degrees. So basically that's what you are supposed to do in order to work out that question. And once again, the question that you were trying to work out is this question, whereby you're supposed to work out the value of x. All right, so which is actually equivalent to 30 degrees. Now let us move to the next question, and question is a question from probability. Let's see, under probability, a question like this, what are you supposed to do? Suppose you are asked a question to do with probability, what are you expected to do? Okay. There are 12 counters in a bag. 3 of the counters are red, 9 of the counters are green. Amaya, Jack, and Ella each takes at random one counter from the bag. Work out the probability that at least one red counter is still on the bag, inside the bag, still inside the bag. So, first I want us to work out probability that these people picks a red, a red, a red, meaning by the end of Ameya, Jack, and Ella picking, there is no what? We are not going to have any red. So, but remember, in this case, we are told that there are 12 counters, but 3 of them are red. So, meaning if the first person, and our first person here is Ameya, if Ameya picks a red, what's the probability of her picking that red? That will be 3 over the total possible 12. Yeah, probability for Ameya to pick a red is 3 over the total. And we are going now to remain with our main reds once Ameya has picked. Once Ameya has picked, we are going to remain with 2 red because initially there were 3. So then we have the next person to pick is Jack. When Jack picks, we are going to have 2 reds remaining out of 11 because already 1 has been picked now because there were 12. 1 red has been picked. We're going to remain with 11 counters, but 2 of them are red. Then when the next person, which is actually Ella, going to pick, is going to pick, probability of getting a red is 1 over 10. Now, working out this, you realize that this is the probability of all the reds being picked from the bag. Then now let's try to multiply here and get to see what does this give us. This is 3 over 12 times 2 over 11 times 1 over 10. If I work this out, I'm getting 1 over 222, rather 1 over 220. Working out this, we get 1 over 220. Now, that's the probability of all the reds being picked. Now, probability there is at least a red, at least one red, at least one red. This is going to be what? Because this represents the probability that there is no red, it means for us to get this, it's going to be 1 minus 1 over 220. That's what we are going to do. Let me try to move this a little bit. Now, to get this, we are going to say, because this represents the probability that all the reds have been picked, then the probability that there is at least one red is going to be equal to 1 over 220. Then the probability that there is at least one red is going to be equal to 1 minus 1 over 220. So this is going to be 1 over what? Just we are subtracting here. 1, let me write probably. Let me write on this tablet. This is going to be equal to 1 minus 1 over 220. If I work out this, let me just try to subtract I'm getting, actually, this is the answer I'm getting. I'm getting 219 over 220. 219 over 220 as the probability that there is at least one red. Remember, we worked out the probability there is no red remaining, then 1 minus that, we get 219 over 220. That's what you're supposed to do in order to earn the whooping 3 marks for this particular question. So we need to move to another question, right? So let's see the next question quickly. This is a question that is coming from, let's see, guess which question is it? Which topic is this? All right, let's see. This is a question that is coming from geometry. We are given a kite, and this kite ABCD, whereby AB equals to AD equals to, and CB equals to CD. We are given the coordinates. So I'll be happily drawing the diagram and trying to represent that information that we have there so that we can see what is supposed to be done at that kind of situation. And let me just draw this kite. Let me say this kite is like this. This kite is like this. Yeah, so I believe you know how a kite looks like. So we can say this is A, B, C, and D. So let's try to fill in. Let's try to fill in the information that we were given for this kite. And then we can now say this is going to be what? This is going to be the coordinate for A. The coordinate for A were negative 210, negative 210. The coordinate for B were given as negative 27 over 5, comma 4. The coordinate for C were given as 4, negative 5. And you are supposed to find this D. D is XY. So how are you going to work out this question? Let's see what we are expected to do. Yeah, so let's see, just move this a little bit so that we can have enough space in order to work out this. How are we going to go about this question? In order to work out, how are we going to work out this question? In order to work out and find the value of C, what are we going to do here? All right, so how are we going to work out this question? Having that we are given all these coordinates and then we are supposed to find the value of D. Now you need to remember that some of the geometric properties of a kite is that if we join this line here, we join this line like that, we join this line like this, yeah, that is the diagonal of that, and also we join this line like this, so the angle formed here is actually 90 degrees, meaning that these two are perpendicular. So meaning that we can be able to relate the perpendicular lines, gradient of perpendicular lines, right? So what I'm going to do at this given point, I'm going to find the gradient of the strategy I'm going to use. Let me just start here. Gradient of BD. The gradient of BD is going to be what? That's the first thing that we are going to do, finding the gradient of BD. And that is going to be y minus 4 over x minus negative 27 over 5. If we work out that gradient, we are going to get our answer as y minus 4 over x plus 27 over 5. This is the gradient of BD. Number 2, I'm going to work out the gradient of line AC. We work out the gradient of that line. So which means that we are going to say gradient of line AC, the gradient of that line is going to be what? That is going to be, let me say this is 10 minus negative 5 over negative 2 minus 4, because gradient is change y1 y we can say gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this one, if we work it out, we're going to get this is actually 15 over negative 6, which is going to translate to what? This is going to translate to, it's going to translate to 3 is going to go here 5 times and is going to go here 2 times. So this is negative 5 over 2. So how is this going to help us? We can be able to say that therefore that the gradient that we have here times this gradient is going to give us negative 1, because the gradient of this line and the gradient of this line, since there is a gradient of two perpendicular lines, is going to be negative 1. So we can say now this gradient times this gradient, we are going to get negative 1. Now out of doing that, we are going to have an equation which is going to be in terms of x and y. Therefore, we are going to say this is going to be y minus 4 over x plus 27 over 5 times. If we multiply that with negative 5 over 2, the answer is going to be negative 1 at that given point. So I can comfortably multiply this on the other sides. I multiply the denominators on the other side. So we are going, okay, we can even open the bracket. This times this is going to give us minus 5 into bracket y minus 4 over 2 into bracket x plus 27 over 5 equals to negative 1. Negative and negative cancels out, negative and negative cancels out, and then we can now have the whole of this denominator here multiplied on the other side. We end up remaining with 5 into bracket y minus 4 equals to 2x plus 54 over 5. I can divide by 5 all through, divide by 5 here, divide by 5 here. We end up having y minus 4 equals to 2 over 5x plus 54 over 25. Because if you divide this, 5 is going also to affect this term on the other side. So if you're having 54 over 5 divided by 5, that's going to be 54 over 25. So I am going to take the 4 on the other side. We have y equals to 2 over 5x plus 54 over 25 plus 4. And let's see, what is that going to give us? If you are having 54 over 25, then we add 4, that translates to 154 over 25. So the equation that we have here is 2 over 5x plus 154 over 25. So we can call this as our equation number 1. We can call this as equation number 1. Yeah, so let me just move this a little bit so that you can be able to see. Okay, now you can see we have our equation 1, which is 2 over 5x x plus 154 over 25. This is our first equation, and remember this equation we have obtained from where? We have multiply the gradient of this line times the gradient of this line, and that should be equal to -1. So this is a property that you need to remember, that used to say m1 times m2 equals to -1. That's the property we have used at this given point. Now, with this equation that we have here, equation 1, with this equation being saved for future reference, I need now to find, because these two lines, if you talk of this line and this line is actually, they are intersecting, I can be able to find the equation of line AC. Finding equation of line AC. So I'll only leave this equation that we were having down here. This one, I will leave it out so that we can use it. We find equation number 2. Now we're going to say finding equation of AC. Now, finding the equation of AC. AC, we know the gradient of AC is actually, because 10 minus this is actually 5 over 2. The gradient of AC is 5 over 2. Remember, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is, if we say this is our x2, y2, and this is our x1, y1. So the gradient of this line is going to be 10 minus -5 over -2 minus 4, which is going to be 15 over -6, and that translates to 5 over 2 negative. So this is the gradient of this line. So since this line passes through n of this point, we can now say equation of the line is going to be y minus n of the 2 points. So this is going to be 5 over, because y minus 5 is going to give us a positive value. X minus 4 is going to be equal to the gradient 5 over 2. So that we can say this is y plus 5 equals to -5 over 2 times x minus 4. If we work this out, we are going to get our y equals to -5 over 2x, right? Then plus 20 over 2 minus 5, because if we take this on the other side, it's going to be a minus. So we end up having y equals to -5 over 2x. Then because this is 10, so then we're going to have plus 5 at that given point. So if you are new to Proflan YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to upload the full tutorial and more tutorials to come, you'll be notified. So let us just continue and try to work out this particular question and get to see what is this that we are expected, what is this that we are expected to do in order to earn all the marks. Now, once we have this equation, we are going to call now this as our equation 2. So meaning that we are going to equate this equation and this so that we can be able to find the value of x and y. So we're going to say equating equation 1 and equation 2. Now trying to solve this equation here, we are going to say where we have actually y, we are going to replace this part in the next bit of this question. So we are going to say -5 over 2 x plus 5 is equals to this part. So we are going to say this is 2 over 5 x plus 154 over 25. Then we're going to put the like terms together. In the process of working this out, we are going to take this on this side, and then we take 25 on the other side. So we are going to have -5 over 2x minus 2 over 5x equals to 154 over 24, then minus 5. So if I work out this, if I try to work out minus 5 over 2, then minus 2 over 5, I'm getting negative 29 over 10. So this part is negative 29 over 10 x is equals to, then the next part is 154 over 25. Then I'll subtract 5. This gives me 29 over 25. Actually, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is very beautiful because I can see 29 appearing both sides and it's part of the fraction there. So meaning it's going to be something nice. So this is 29 over 10. Now that we are done with this equation down here and I need more space, I can be able to take you through. In order to find x, we are going to say that our x therefore equals to 29 over 10 times negative 10 over x is what? Let me confirm. There's something here. Yeah, that. So this is 29 over 25 at that point. So in order to find the value of x, our x therefore is going to be 29 over 25 over negative 29 over 10. If we work out this, if you divide this like this, so this implies that our value of x is what? So the answer we had gotten, divide by negative 29 over 10, this gives me negative 2 over 5, negative 2 over 5. So negative 2 over 5 as the value of x. So meaning that this point that we have here for d here, x is negative 2 over 5. Now, what is the value of y? In order to work out the value of y, we can use this equation that we have, equation 2, or you could have even used equation 1 that we have gotten here. So let us find y. Our y is going to be equal to negative 5 over 2, negative 5 over 2 times x, and our x is negative 2 over 5. Then we are going to add plus 5 here, plus 5. We are going to say then plus 5 at this given point, so that this and this will cancel out, this will cancel out, this will be positive 1, and the final answer now becomes what? 1 plus 5, which is going to be 6. So this point here is going to be 6, negative 2 over 5, 6 as the coordinate for this particular cut. So remember to work out question to do with equation of straight lines, how to find gradient of line, so that whenever you are going to be given a question like this, you'll be in a position to work it out. And it's time, if you are new to Prof Learn YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to upload further tutorials, you'll be notified. All right, so let's continue with the next bit of the question. We have already done this. This one we have already done it. All right, so this is what you are supposed to do in this question. I believe you have followed through on how to go about it. And remember, you are not supposed to skip any step as you are watching these videos, so that you can be able to have a good understanding of what was expected to be done in this particular question. So let us see what we are going to work on in the next question. We are given a question like this here, and then let me just take you back to the main question. So all right, here we are told that the diagram shows a right angle triangle ABD, and we are told that AB equals to 14 centimeters, AD equals to 8 centimeters, C is the point on BD such that the angle BAC is 38 degrees. Work out the value, work out the length of CD. We are supposed to work out the length of CD. We're supposed to work out the length of CD and give our answer correct to 3 significant figures. So given such kind of a question, remember to follow the instructions on the number of significant figures. You are supposed to leave your answer so that we can be able to maximize on all the marks, and those questions that you are able to score right, make sure you get all the marks. Those questions that will be a challenge, we hope for the best. So here we are told this is actually 38 degrees, 38 degrees, and then this is labeled as A, this is labeled as D, this is labeled at C, and then we have B at this point. So I can also identify that we have 14 centimeters at this given point, and also we have 8 centimeters at this given point. So we are supposed to work out the length of CD. Now, for us to work out the length of CD, I'll be interested to know which angle is this, so that I'm going to use that to find the length of CD. Now, I'll want to remove this part of the question from here, and so that I can go ahead. So once we have this question set ready to be done here, I'll want you to understand that the concept that we are using here is a soccer tower. So if I can use this soccer tower and I'm able to find the whole of this angle. In order to find the whole of that angle, remember I have adjacent to this angle. Remember this is a right angled triangle there. So I can be able to use SOHCAHTOA in order to find the whole of this angle, right? So I'll say I have adjacent to the angle, and also I have hypotenuse to the angle. So which means that I can be able to use which trigonometric ratio? I can be able to use cosine, right? So I'll say cos of that angle is actually adjacent of hypotenuse. So that is the formula I'm going to use in order to work out this. Then now I'll say therefore this is cos theta is equals to adjacent is 8 and hypotenuse is 14. So meaning that for me to find theta, I'm going to find the cos inverse of 8 over 14. If I work out that, I'll have to use my calculator and say shift cos 8 over 14, and if I work out this, I'm getting this value 55.15, which is 51 point, rather I'm getting 55.15, which is equivalent to 55.2 degrees. So this angle is 55.2 degrees at that point. So which means that this angle I have down here is going to be angle CAD is going to be equivalent to 55.2 minus 38. If I work out that, I subtract that 8 from this, I'm getting 17.2. 17.2 degrees at that point. Now, how am I going to use this information that I'm talking about here? Then I'll come and say, because now I have this triangle with 17.2 degrees, so I'll do away with that because now I'm not interested with that part anymore. I'm finding CD. I can use this triangle here and find CD now. I'll use this triangle to find CD. This is adjacent, this is actually opposite. CD is opposite. Then I'll use adjacent and opposite. So that at that given point, I'll have to use tan toward. So I'll say tan 17.2 equals to opposite over adjacent, which is 8. So opposite, which is actually our CD, is going to be 8 times tan 17. So because the space is not enough, let me just use that single value here and say this is actually what? CD is 8 tan 17.2. 17.2. So which we can work out using our calculator. 8 times 7 tan 17.2, which is going to translate to 2.47. 2.47 centimeters. 2.47 centimeters. So that's what we were expected to do in this particular question. Right, so we can be able to move to the next question and see what we are supposed to do. The question that we have just solved now is this question here. So I want us to move to the next bit. This is a question of probability as well. Let's say under probability, what are we expected to do? And this is going to mark the end of this video so that we can be able to focus for more tutorials to come. So this is going to be the last for today. And we are told that Nareen has Nareen has a fair 6-sided dice, whereby A has 2 red faces, 4 yellow faces. B has 1 red face and 5 yellow faces. Nareen is going to throw each dice once, and we're supposed to work out the probability that both dice land on yellow. Both dice land on yellow. So we're going to use a probability tree diagram, and from this we're trying to analyze the information we have. From the first one, this is dice. Can talk of this is going to be dice A, right? We are going to talk of red at that given point, yeah, and then we have yellow here. So what's the probability for it to be a red for dice A? Is actually 2/6, and then we are having 4/6 because a dice has 6 faces. 2 of them are red, so meaning the probability for it to be red is 2/6. And then we are now going to move to the second dice. So for the second row, now this is for dice B, red and the yellow, then red and yellow at that given point. So which will mean that, let me just make sure this is a bit, which will mean that we can be able to fill in for B, and B we are told that it has 1 red face, so meaning the probability of being a red is 1/6, and this one will be 5/6, this will be 1/6, and this is 5/6. Now having this, we need to appreciate the fact that we can be able to pick the probability. The first row, if the first row is red and red, then it means that the probability here is red, red. That's the probability at that given point. So if the first dice is thrown and the face is red, and once the second one is thrown and it is red, so this means the probability here is going to be red, red. Probability here is red, yellow. Probability is red, yellow. Here is yellow, red. Probability yellow, yellow, red. And here probability is yellow, yellow. Then in this question we're supposed to work out the probability that both dice land on yellow. Both. So meaning that it's gonna land on yellow for dice A, and it's gonna land also at yellow for dice B. So we can also, for dice B, is going to land on yellow at this given point. So we are going to work out the probability for that. So probability that lands on yellow for both, yeah, for both. Let me add that statement, and that is going to be equivalent to what? So in order to work out this, we are going to say this is going to be 4/6 times 5/6 in that case. And if we work out this, we're going to get this is 20/36, which will mean that we can simplify this to actually 5/9 as our answer. So when you are to work out this question, you are to get your final answer as 5/9 as the probability for them landing both on yellow. So that's what you are supposed to do in this particular question.